Hey, good morning, everyone. Marty Mazzora here, August 30th, Friday, 2019. Pre-market update for you, S&P 500 futures chart on your screen. Well, we may just do it today, folks. We are once again pushing against this very stubborn but frequently visited resistance line right here. And this morning we are indeed going up through it. Now, I've been saying just about every day that right in here, there are shorts that have been doing really well selling this level. So like I said yesterday, expect to see a real battle in here among traders. Again, this has been a very stubborn line, but I said back in here that the longer we hit it, the more I wonder if we're not actually weakening it a bit. Still, just kind of last couple of days, it's more or less no news is good news on trade. Right in here, we had the president's claim of some phone calls from China. All indications are that never took place. So it was kind of a classic bout of market manipulation. Someone in the private sector would be in big trouble for that. But that's another conversation. So the market rallied on the phone calls. Didn't really have much of a reaction on the realization that there wasn't any phone calls, because it did speak to a desire on the US's part to come to the table and maybe even resolve the trade disputes. So we've had these nice big days. We're going into the weekend. I think this actually discounts a canceling of the tariffs that are supposed to go into effect on Sunday. I think traders think, with the latest rhetoric and the concerns that the president exhibited here, that he's looking for an out. He's looking to not implement the tariffs that are scheduled to go into effect Sunday. So I think traders are trading into this morning thinking that they're going to get that news, and they may very well. There may have been a call yesterday, and that may happen. If we don't get that news, it'll be interesting to see how the market closes today. And if we wake up in the morning on Monday with the new round of tariffs indeed added, then I would expect this market to have sold off a bit. But there's no guarantee of that. Again, the sentiment does appear to be better. However, I did see two tweets this morning. One, the president not speaking kindly of General Motors now having a very small presence in Detroit and a somewhat large presence in China. And then Peter Navarro, saw just a 30-second clip of him saying that the president has been using the tariff strategy brilliantly to this point. And no modern president has done it. But if you look throughout history, it is kind of a fabric of U.S. history. Kind of interesting you would say that, because I don't think the history of the U.S. implementing big rounds of tariffs has been something that has been welcomed by the economy, and that is an understatement, to say the least. But nonetheless, a couple of things that would make you think that this is something that the White House wants to continue to battle with, and that perhaps there's no resolution soon. The fundamental underpinnings are very concerning, and that's something that I've talked about. My weekend message, lots of things I want to share with you in that message in terms of data, indicators, and so on. So it might be kind of a long one, but please do take the few minutes, whatever it takes, to take that in so you can stay abreast of what we're thinking here. So again, this morning, encouraging what I've said again, to repeat, a lot of shorts in here that if they really think that this is something that's going to move beyond them, they will cover, and that will be a self-fulfilling prophecy. The market will get a jolt. We'll see at the open. We'll see what happens in the open is in about 11 minutes from here. Okay, let me clear that up a little bit. Let's zoom in just a little bit here and see how things look on the hourly chart, just to see what's going on in here this morning. Okay, so here's that line that we've been looking at. So this is an hourly chart. So every candle, as opposed to the daily chart we're just looking at, every candle is an hour. Okay, so here we are, all those times bumping up against this line. You can see we pierced it, looked like we had a little momentum, even closed above it. And I think that was the only close above it so far. Every other time has been a failed breakout attempt. And we started failing right along this trend line right in here. And as you can see now, as of this morning, we've broken above that. You can see we've been flirting and running up against resistance here on an hourly basis. And right now we've broken through it to a greater extent than we have at any time so far during this sideways action in here. The market is fractal. These patterns that develop on a long-term basis develop on a short-term basis, and they send the same short-term signals just like we get the long-term signals when we look at a longer-term chart. So here's our moving average convergence divergence, MACD, the momentum indicator. So as you can see, we still have in here a negative divergence from this point to this point. We actually have the market now starting to break out, but this is not giving us a technical confirmation that we really have the momentum here that we need. And right here, just here the last few hours, you see upward sloping trend, but we see the MACD rolling over, and this right in here is about to be a sell signal if the blue line drops below there. In terms of the RSI, or the relative strength index, same look. You've got your upward trend, you've got your bearish divergence, and you have a very overbought look up into here. So this is where you just had too much of a good thing. Market doesn't tend to stay very long above the overbought level of 70 or below the oversold level of 30. You can see that in here. So at these other peaks so far where we failed, at least two of them, you can see we had overboughtness, and then ultimately it resolved lower. So this is not the most encouraging look. Of course, more positive trade news will flip all of this to the positive in a heartbeat. So this is just short-term stuff. But right now, all things considered, if I were a very short-term day trader or swing trader, these indicators right here would tell me to sell this move above resistance right here and expect it to go lower. I'd have some stops right above there though, because I think just a hint of positive trade news, and we are screaming higher. Shorts are covering, and then we're up into higher areas and having different short-term discussions. The long-term discussion, folks, does not allow us at this point, or certainly does not dictate that we get at all bullish under present circumstances. And you'll have much more support from that on the weekly message here, either later today or sometime over the weekend. And I'll leave it right there for now. Talk to you soon. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.